Hey, what's up guys, Sir Emanon here, and welcome to another video. So this is going to be some more testing with me playing Tri-Brigade Lyrilusc up against my friend Joel on Drytron. And if you guys did miss the deck profile video that I uploaded a couple of days ago for this deck, you can find the link to that both in the description box below as well as in the card in the top right corner. But let's not waste any more time and get started with this matchup here without any further ado. So we do lose the RPS here, which is obviously very unfortunate for us in a combo mirror, but if nothing else, that emphasizes just the importance of having go second cards or hand traps, especially in game 1. But we didn't draw any of those, so our opening hand is going to be Nerval, Sapphire Swallow, Celeste Wagtail, Barrel Canary, and Bird Call. So no way to stop our Drytron opponent from just freely comboing here. And his hand going first is going to be Prep, Cyber Emergency, Dark Magician, Red Eyes Fusion, and Delta. So even though he drew 2 bricks, he has more than enough to combo here. I don't scoop because I just want to showcase off, again, the ridiculousness of Drytron, just to give everyone a reminder, I suppose. But also, I think he just want to practice with this build. He doesn't play this deck super often. So we're going to speed through his combo. I do think I look at the top card of my deck. I just take a peek to see if it's kind of worth playing out, which it isn't, but I was just curious. So he's going to Emergency for Alpha, and then Prep for Benton. He's going to Alpha Tribute away Benton to search for Idaten, and then Benton's going to search Diviner. He's going to Diviner effect, go ahead and search for Herald of the Arclight to search Meteonis. Then he's going to resolve the Delta, attributing away the Idaten to reveal Meteonis and draw in the Prep. Then he's going to overlay for Fafnir, send away Gamma, and then Meteonis to summon out Idaten, which adds back the Meteonis. Then he's going to overlay for Beatrice, and then use that effect to send a copy of the Ultimates to Graveyard. Then he's going to Meteonis to bring back the Benton, and then activate the effect of Gamma, attributing away the Benton to go and summon out Delta in itself, as well as add the Ava off the Benton. Then he's going to Prep to search Natasha, and then add back the Meteonis from Graveyard. And he's going to Meteonis one final time for the Ultimates, and then he's going to link off into Masquerena, and then I just scoop here because we can't really do anything. It was 4 negations with Ava in hand. Maybe I could have cheesed a win if like Call by the Grave could hit Ava. If he had no Fairy in hand, but we knew he searched Natasha, so it wasn't really likely that was going to happen. So yeah, we just packed that one up here. And that is Drytron. That's the reality of combo mirrors sometimes. Kind of keeping it realistic, that is what some of your games will look like, so we gotta kind of prepare for that if you are playing any sort of combo mirror realistically. But yeah, we're gonna go first this time around. So our opening hand is going to be Nerval, Karos, Nibiru, Cobalt Sparrow, and Sapphire Swallow. So yeah, this hand is awkward, but it works. Again, this is kind of a reason why I don't like opening Sapphire Swallow, and I've been playing 1 for a long time, and I still draw this card a lot. But luckily, we drew a hand that facilitates it fairly well, so it's fine. Just the thing that is unfortunate is that it relinquishes our normal summon to get things started, and you don't really want to be doing that because that plays the Nib a lot harder. So I'm basically just conceding to Nibiru. If he has it, I just lose to it basically with his hand. And I have my own at least if that does happen. And then his hand going second is going to be Double Droplet, Gamma, Prep, and Lightning Storm. So he is more than prepared to go second with this hand. This is a lot of go second cards. So we're going to kick things off with a normal summon Nerval. Then we're going to activate Sapphire Swallow. We're going to summon out itself and the Cobalt Sparrow. We get to trigger her effect for Barrel Canary, which I do eventually take back, but this is actually fine to search. I'll kind of run through that a bit later. But yeah, we're going to go for Recital Starling. This deck doesn't really tend to play Veiler or Imperm, but we can still play around it. So it's just good practice. We're going to detach Nerval to grab Celeste Wagtail off the Recital, and then we're going to grab Kit off the Nerval. And then here we're going to pitch the Kit for the Karos, which is also a pretty lucky draw. Because of the fact that, again, we already normal summoned, so we wouldn't have been able to get too much value off Kit unless we just linked away these 2 for Farigit, which if we do that, it's fine, but it makes it so we can't go for Utopia Drago Future this turn pretty reliably. So, yeah, pretty good for us because we also get Rendezvous Engrave off the Kit there. And then we get to Karos here. That's going to banish 2 for the Farigit. And then we're going to activate Farigit's effect to summon out the Celeste Wagtail from hand, which triggers its effect for Bird Call. Again, I'm just making a concession to Nibiru. If he has it, we just lose to it right here. And here's where I decided to take back my initial search of Barrel Canary and go for Turquoise Warbler. It actually doesn't matter because I can simply just get the Turquoise Warbler right here. But the reasoning for that is that I want to actually use the second Recital Starling to not search Barrel Canary, but to search for DD Crow, since I can get to Barrel Canary anyways off of this Bird Call. And why we need Turquoise Warbler is just the fact that we haven't used it yet, the effect to special from hand to grave, since we didn't open this card. So once we summon it off the Bird Call, we get an extra body on the board, which helps kind of fuel our Ensemble Robin. Doubly so because what we're going to bring back is, I believe, Sapphire Swallow after we go for our Draco Future play. So these optimizations do matter, and DD Crow is great in this matchup specifically because it is Drytron. So we're going to go for our Utopia Draco Future right here, and then fire our Bird Call. We're going to search for Barrow Canary. So in the other scenario, we just have 2 Barrow Canaries here, which is fine. I mean, it's good enough for follow-up, but like this card is quite good in this matchup. So yeah, we're going to go and trigger our Warbler. We're going to bring back our Sapphire. Again, this kind of just gets more material. I mean, we could bring it back off the Barrow Canary anyways, but I mean, it's just nice to have a lot of materials under Ensemble Robin. We get to trigger our Farragut and we draw Imperial Order, which is a really sacky draw, I'm not going to lie. This is a really lucky one. To be fair, we also have Anti-Spell in our deck, which is fine. And this doesn't help beat the big problem being Forbidden Droplet, which is really unfortunate. But yeah, he's able to really just force the order one way or the other with his Lightning Storm. So I guess I can talk about Lightning Storm for a bit after I finish resolving Farragut. So it's weird against our deck because, like, obviously Draco Future protects itself, and then we have Rendezvous engraved to kind of protect our board as well. In a lot of decks, that's fine because they can just proceed to normal summon and attack over a barrier statue. For us, that's okay because we'll typically have our Ensemble Robin as additional defense in the case that our barrier statue gets cleared. So in a lot of cases, Lightning Storm isn't the greatest. In this deck, they don't have a lot of ways to just like profitably normal summon and then just kind of like clear the barrier statue because like Diviner Sen and his targets, and we have protection with the Simorg, obviously. And then, you know, they can't really normal summon anything else that's like big enough to attack over the statue. So in this deck, I don't think Lightning Storm in this matchup is the greatest, but like I can kind of see the appeals to trying to like crack the board a bit. Also, like it helps like to chain Lightning Storm just to, or sorry, chain 2 Lightning Storm, the Forbidden Droplet, just to help get a bit more value off of it. So like clears the Rendezvous just for free. But yeah, I put back DD despite how much I was praising it. I really should have kept it over the Nibiru here. Just because like in the context of supplementing my board, we don't really want the Nibiru clear our entire field. That only would happen if he is able to like negate everything via a droplet, which I suppose is what I was preparing for, is just like worst case scenario. And I think you kind of have to assume that they open these types of cards if they don't have hand traps. And it is Drytron, so like they probably would index more towards like board breakers. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and activate Barrow Canary here to bring back the Cobalt Sparrow. Then we're going to go for Ensemble Robin and attach the Warbler off our Sapphire Swallow, and then use Celeste Wagtail's effect as well. So we have 5 materials on this, which is definitely sizable. And then we're going to go for our Barrier Statue in the end phase. So this is a pretty solid end board. He draws another spell in the form of Drytron Nova. If this is a actual Drytron name, he can break this board fairly effectively. And that's where DD Crow would have come in handy there, because he would have probably just pitched the Drytron name and then tributed the other one to activate its graveyard effect, and that's where I can hit him with the DD Crow. But as it stands right now, we got a bit lucky there. So yeah, I think if I would have played this again, I probably would have kept DD Crow for sure. He's gonna Storm, which forces our Imperial Order. I don't really want to burn the Rendezvous. I could have just like held it, kind of thinking more a bit about the matchup now. I could have just like said, okay, I can just like protect everything with the Rendezvous, and that's fine. Because this protects like everything that would be marked for destruction. So that would be literally my entire board. So yeah, I could have just said like, okay, this resolves. And then like, if he chains Droplet, then I can like activate Imperial Order. So that probably would have been better. So that's like 2 kind of like different changes I would make, is like keeping DD Crow and actually just not chaining Order here. Which is pretty counterintuitive, but if you think about it, again, because it's Drytron, they don't have a great way to actually clear the statue, like at all, just in general. Like Lightning Storm doesn't actually address that problem. So yeah, that's kind of like an interesting thing to think about. He scoops there because he doesn't have another monster to actually keep playing, because like the order will be will resolve, so his Nova and Prep are turned off, and he doesn't he needs another monster there. But yeah, that's kind of like a good lesson to note, is that even though like we built our entire board, we could have done things slightly better to help play around those Go Second cards. So I think that was a good game to demonstrate that like you can always like make these slight optimizations. But we're gonna go second in game 3, and we need to go second cards, and thankfully we drew them this time. So we have Nibiru, Dark Ruler, Ash, Cobalt Sparrow, and Nerval. Our engine card is not looking the greatest, but our engine cards in general aren't looking the greatest right here. But at minimum, we can like normal Nerval and then like go Karas, pitch Cobalt Sparrow, and like try and end on some more. It's not pretty, but between these 3 cards, it should be enough to help deter our opponent from comboing. But yeah, his hand's gonna be Alpha, Instant Fusion, Delta, Diviner, and Dark Magician. So he drew Dark Magician, the ultimate wizard in both games 1 and 3 right here. But yeah, he has more than enough to combo, and he can turn out my Ash with the instant fusion, which is pretty unfortunate for us. So he's going to go for Millennium Eyes, and then he's going to normal summon out the Diviner, and then he's going to send Arclight. So I'm going to skip through this because he actually ends up taking all of this back, and I'll just run through what he actually ends up doing, because he takes a lot of this back later, right about here. So yeah, he's going to put back this Ida 10. Yeah, so what he ends up doing is, I know this is a bit confusing, this Orange Light shouldn't be here, but he goes Diviner, send Arclight to search for Meteonis, and then he's going to Alpha, tribute away the Delta, and then the Alpha is going to search for the Ben 10 right here. And then he's going to Delta, tribute away the Ben 10. Again, the Orange Light shouldn't be there because it was a Ben 10 search that never happened yet. So he's going to Delta tribute away Ben 10 to reveal the Meteonis, and then he's going to draw into Orange Light, which he did shuffle, so it's funny he drew it back. And then he's going to search Ava off of the Ben 10. I think he does it this way just so we can keep more fairies like reliably, just to like play around Nibiru and stuff. Because right now he's on summon 4. The way he did it previously would have had Ida 10 in hand, but he would have had to have pitched it for the Delta. Granted, the draw was a little bit lucky there, I'm not going to lie. Because like if he didn't draw this, then it kind of like renders this whole play a little bit meaningless. But I mean, like if he draws any fairy, he like Ben 10 search for Orange Light anyway, so it's like fine. So it's kind of like a gamble. I don't think there was a way for him to like guarantee be able to play around Nibiru, but I suppose Delta gave him a higher chance than just like him guaranteeing to have to get rid of his Ida 10 off the Delta anyways. So again, like there's always small optimizations you can make. Here, because he searched Ava, I'm kind of running under the assumption that he has Orange Light. I mean, not knowing that he just drew it off the Delta there. Yeah, he's going to overweight for Fafnir, he's going to go for the Gamma, and then to the Meteonis, I'm going to chain the Nibiru just to force out the Ava. Because I know I have Dark Ruler, but the thing is that, like, obviously when you Dark Ruler, if they keep Ava in hand, then you have to fight through 2 Orange Light negations, and I would rather just play through the 1, especially given how weak my hand is. So yeah, we're going to do that, and then he's going to resolve his Meteonis to summon out Ben 10, and he's going to grab his 2 fairies. And he's going to trade away for Gamma, summon out itself and Delta, searching Ida 10 off the Ben 10, and he's going to Meteonis add itself back. Then he's going to go for Linkuriboh, he's going to go for Ida 10, and he's going to Ida 10 summon itself, and then add back the Ritual spell. Then he's going to overlay for Beatrice, and he's going to Beatrice send Ultimateness, and then he's going to Meteonis a final time for the Ultimateness. And then here he kind of messes up the order of operations right here, because he can't make Masquerena with Linkuriboh, but he just makes Verite with these instead, and then puts IP here, which is good enough. So yeah, basically ends on the same board, just these 2 should be swapped. He's going to go for the Dragoon at the end of this, and then he's going to pass. So we draw Bird Call, which is honestly one of the best top decks we could have. Like this unlocks our entire hand to be able to just play through the Orange Light, no problem. So yeah, we are obviously going to just start out with Dark Ruler. And this is why I dropped the Nibiru, because playing through 2 Orange Lights would be a lot more difficult than playing through just 1. So we're going to Bird Call. We search Warbler here. And this is, I think, the biggest singular misplay of my entire turn, actually, kind of like running this back. So I pretty much have to resolve Bird Call's effects to special. Like, it's all one effect, but I have to basically apply that effect here. A lot of the times when I'm going first and I draw this setup, I like search Warbler, I don't use the effect, and I just like special Warbler, special Sparrow, because like if you use that kind of effect when you go first, you don't actually get the value off Warbler, because like the ways you trigger are normally its own effect or Bird Call, and then occasionally Farigate, but like doing that turn 1 usually gets gets rid of your Utopic Drake or Future line usually. So I'm like accustomed to doing it this way, but in reality I should have searched Barrel Canary. So my goal in mind here was to play around the Orange Light as best as possible. So right here, I summon out Sparrow from the Bird Call, and then going to activate her effect. So if you change Orange Light, my thought process was, well, I can just special Warbler because my board will be clear, bring back the Sparrow, and then go for Zeus, and then just clear his entire board. And that's pretty good, and that would have worked for sure. But I think if I search Barrel Canary here, it does the same thing. And then there's like actually a world in which I could get a bit more value with like my Nerval in hand if that does end up happening to like where he negates this. But like both Barrel Canary and Warbler make it so that he doesn't want to Orange Light this because like I'm gonna go for Zeus. But regardless, he can't really stop my Zeus play just given like the setup of my hand. He asks what I search for here, and I reveal it's Warbler, and again, that like deters him from using the Orange Light. So I grab Sapphire off of the Cobalt Sparrow, which is totally fine. We're gonna Sapphire Swallow summon itself in Nerval here. So now I actually have like a big Zeus, like a really, really big Zeus. He could have Orange Light negated my Sapphire Swallow, which would have been interesting. And granted that I think it would have been, that probably would have been a decent play. I mean, I would have had my normal summon for Nerval and would have gone for Zeus regardless. But again, I don't think he's stopping Zeus anyways, just given the anatomy of my hand. But that would have made it so that I couldn't really end it anything super well. Well, that's not true actually, because I could just go for a Karos off the Nerval one to detach it there, and then Karos pitch Warbler, and then like go for plays from there. So yeah, maybe it was probably right to just hold on to the Orange Light. There's not really a great time for him to do it, just the way that I'm structuring this play. Yes, Recital, but I'm just gonna go into Assembled. I'm not trying to like play too hard into Orange Light when my primary plan is to just Zeus, because I really need to get rid of this board. Because I have ways to force out the Orange Light in main phase too. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and Zeus. We're going to detach, and I actually detached the wrong thing, which you'll see in a bit. But yeah, I clear the board. If he Orange Lights here, you can just chain Zeus again, and then his board gets wiped anyways. He loses his follow-up, and my Warbler is online now. Plus, I'm getting Nerval Surge here too. Yeah, and here I swap materials that I detach because I actually want to keep the Sparrow in rotation, because I do plan on banishing whatever I detach for the Tri-Brigade that I'm searching out this Nerval. Because this Tri-Brigade is absolutely going to force the Orange Light. And the reason for that is that I'm going to Fractal here, banish 2. He can negate this, or he can wait for me to summon the Heartbeat Conductor and then go into Simorg and then negate the Simorg. But basically, like again, we already established his deck has a hard time playing around just the Barrier Statue. And so, yeah, he pretty much has to negate this. Otherwise, I'm just going to stick a Barrier Statue for free. And so we kind of pass on this. So this is kind of like the scenario where like maybe having Barrow Canary would have been better. I mean, it's definitely arguable at this point, especially because I don't have any Lyriluscs in grave at this point in time. But just in the case that I did, or more importantly and more relevantly, next turn, it would be nice to just have the Barrow Canary to guarantee that I have follow-up to go for game. Because right now, like this Warbler just doesn't do a whole ton. So it is something to kind of think about. Like if I were to plan far enough ahead for like my next term, Barrow Canary would be a lot more profitable because I can just like bring back the Cobalt Sparrow and then like grab more searches, and I can just go for game. Even though I already went with my Zeus line, I can like just make a bigger like Ensemble Robin, for instance, and that would be like decent. But yeah, he draws Zeta for turn, and the Ash I actually didn't use turn 1 because I wasn't able to is gonna come in handy here because I'm pretty sure he alphas, so I'm just gonna Ash here. But I mean, like even if you like use Gamma or something different, like I had Zeus to trade for it, so like everything was fine here. We top deck Fractal, which I show him, and like this is like a really strong top deck because I'm just gonna go and search for Kit, and then we're just gonna go for game right here. So yeah, overall, I think this is a pretty solid match, a pretty good demonstration of like even in a combo mirror, you can definitely control variables to be in your favor. Because this deck typically is going to be playing 14 or 15 go second cards post side when you go second, of course. Because I usually set up Cross Designator and like Rendezvous for going second. That's also the reason I didn't search Kit off the Nerval, by the way, is that like there wasn't really anything great to send off the Kit regardless. So I just wanted like the Fractal there. But yeah, this is pretty solid. Yeah, I mean, combo mirrors definitely can be a bit die rolly sometimes, but this is, again, just like another good example of like, even though you lose the die roll in a combo mirror, you can still pull things back in games 2 and 3, even if you don't draw anything going first, or sorry, in game 1 going second. But yeah, overall, pretty good stuff. I do think that, again, I could have played out this turn slightly better with the Bird Call. My target could have been more optimal, but I think that you get the premise of like using the Bird Call as a means of like making sure that his Orange Light just never gets to prevent my Zeus from resolving. Because like if I search Warbler and then I special Warbler activate the effect, he Zeus or he Orange Lights here, my hand is then just going to be Nerval plus Sparrow, which is again just going to be normal Nerval, go into Amirage, go Karos, and then go into Simorg. But that doesn't actually break the board of Dragoon, Ultimatus, IP, Verite. And it's like these things like this which is important. Like that's why Bear Call is such a crazy card, is that like it has all these effects in one line of text, which is absurd. And then like you just get to trigger out like your valuable Lyriluscs and then make it so that you are guaranteed a Zeus play regardless of what your opponent does, which is pretty crazy. But yeah, that's going to wrap things up for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. And again, look out for the combo video, which will be coming out this weekend. Hopefully, I'm still working on it, and it's a big work in progress. Hopefully, I'll be able to get it out on time. I have, right now, I don't even know how many combos I'm on right now. I'm on at least 12 or 13. And I'm not even close to done yet. So yeah, this is going to be a long combo video, I can already tell. That's going to be it, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. See you guys.